Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the MISC Starlancer TAC. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, welcome back to another review. It's been a week since my last one because my son turned 8, and so I took him out for a great trip and we had a good time. So again, happy 8th birthday to my little guy. Otherwise, thank you to everybody pictured on screen and a few people that weren't able to make it for the screenshot. You guys are all truly amazing. So thank you again. Thank you to my supporters, my viewers, everybody truly amazing. The Starlancer TAC, this ship, the last price point was at $330, but with it releasing today, that price should be going up. Look at the comments down below. I'll have a pinned comment with the actual price point, Warbond, and store credit. As well, there is no in-game price because it's not going to be available to purchase in-game for a few patch cycles. Once I have that information, I'll go ahead and let you know. Now, this ship is considered a gunship or a combat dropship, depending on how you want to use it. And so if you get destroyed, you have a 13-minute and 19-second claim time, or if you expedite it, it is 3 minutes and 19 seconds, which is honestly really good. Now with this ship, I'm going to give you the stats here pretty quick so I can go ahead and take a look at that interior. The pilot has 1,940 damage per second due to the 4 size 4 M6A laser cannons. MISC is really good about giving you good guns on these things for the pilot, so I appreciate that. And then the pilot also has 16 size 3 Thunderbolt 3 missiles. 2 pods go from the nose underneath and 1 pod on each engine nacelle. It looks really, really cool. Now, you also have a remote turret in the co-pilot section that has 12 size 2 Ignite 2 missiles that the Max doesn't have. That is really awesome, as you can see on the back of this ship as I talk about this ship. Now, the 2 remote turrets are the same on the top as with the Max, with the 4 size 4 CF447 Rhinos. And then you have 2 turrets that are new to this ship that are manned, giving you 4 size 5 CF557 Galdarines, which is honestly a ton of firepower, allowing you to really decimate an area like an AC-130 would, as well as just giving you a good amount of firepower if you're out in space and somebody attacks you, as long as you have all these guns manned. Right now, there are no blades allowing these guns to be controlled by the AI, so you will have to have a crew if you want to have the best amount of firepower out there. And then, as you can see, you do have that hangar on the top of the ship, which Zero Grav was landing a Fury on, which is pretty cool. I do appreciate that. And you can fit up to 2 Furies, I believe, as well as an M50 and potentially some other ships, but it's a very tight squeeze. It's meant for the Fury, and that is pretty much it. Now, there is a back ramp. This ship gives you a lot of accessibility to do many things. You can do package deliveries, cargo. You can do rock mining, as well as just transporting vehicles, people. I mean, there's just so much fun you can be doing with this ship. It's quite awesome. And with that, you do have 2 size 3 shield generators giving you 126,800 quadrant shield, which is honestly a fantastic amount of shield. And if you were to use your shield faces, you can definitely take advantage of that. Now, the ship does have 116,600 ship HP. It is spread out a little bit weird right now, making the ship somewhat fragile, so something to keep an eye on. And I know that that is a number that will potentially change in the future, allowing the ship to be even better and a little bit more sturdy for you. So no real big hit there as of right now. That is still a lot of ship HP. Just, rotate your ship and, use all of its directions as best as you can. With that, you do have a top speed of 110 SCM with a 305 forward boost, a 140 backwards boost, and a 915 NAV speed. That is not great at all. As a ship out there supposed to be a gunship, your speed is really low, and so you got to be very careful about what you engage or how you're being engaged. Now, you do have a 27-27-60 pitch yaw roll and a 32-32-72 boosted pitch yaw roll, which is honestly, it's not terrible for the style of ship. It is a AC-130 of sorts, which is pretty cool. I do think the maneuverability could be better, could be worse, but I honestly think for its style of ship and its size, it's honestly not that bad. Now, you do have 100 flares and 60 noise on this ship, allowing you to hopefully prevent missiles from taking you out for a little bit before you jump out of the scene and hopefully save your ship. You do have 50 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 3.6 SCU of quantum fuel, and you have 96 SCU of cargo grid. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Going to the back ramp over here. This is one of your ground entrances right here. The back ramp with the remote missile pods right here on screen. As you can see, I got quite the crew on board right now. And then if you were to go to the front of the ship over here, you do have another ground entrance, which is your elevator right in front of this new gun here with the size 5s. That right there is your typical entrance, just like on the Max. And then you do have the 2 drop zone areas here that, depending on the moon or planet, you could definitely jump up here, allowing you to, access the ship from there as well. But that's where you're going to be doing a lot of combat drops. Now, let's go ahead and start at the back of the ship here. You do have, like I said, room for vehicles back here. Right now, I have the newest MTC back here, which is pretty cool. The Mobile Tactical Carrier. It's a pretty cool little vessel. I do like the tires on it, very beefy. And this is your cargo grid here with the mag plates. Like I said, holding 96 SCU of cargo. And like I said, you can put a rock back here. You can put a NERSA back here, but why have a NERSA when you have a medical room? And this is just phenomenal, allowing you to go ahead and take care of patients out there, healing them and taking care of any sort of battle wounds from the medical area, which my team is currently actively doing. And it's a fantastic time. Being able to take care of your crew is just always a plus in my book. The Medical Terrapin, the C8R Pisces, Cutlass Red, the 890 Jump, the Carrack, all these ships with the medical rooms are just fantastic, including the Polaris. Now, these elevators, just like on the Max, go up to the next floor above you, which is where the living quarters would be last time. But let's go ahead and continue on the floor. Once you pass this medical room, you have a drop zone room where you have up to 8 drop seats here, allowing you to go ahead and bring in many troops into a combat zone right out these side doors, which are opened via these side little switches here. So pretty cool. And look at that. I mean, that's just really awesome. And it even has a little window which you can look out of, so you're not getting terribly air sick in here, right? Motion sick. And then you have a little side gun. So grip the side gun and go ahead and take care of any targets outside of either side of these doors, which is just awesome. Gotta love that. Now, if you move in here, you can see this is where you're going to have one of your manned seats here, and here, one of them is occupied at the time, as well as a very rule of cool design here, showing you all this ammunition. The design is just fantastic. It looks great. And then if you continue up the stairway here, you're going to go ahead into the area of the ship where it's kind of the same as the Max. You have your docking collar here, your airlock, and then if you move forward, you have your nice little suit locker area. There's just a bunch of suit lockers. So your whole crew's suits are going to be stored back here. And then if you make your way, you have the elevator to your left or the ladder to your right. I'll go ahead and show you the ladder because the elevators, you know how they are. They're a little bit slow. So we'll go ahead and make our way up the ladder and towards the bridge bridge of the ship, so take a turn here. And right here you do have 4 of your escape pods, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And if you make your way through the next door, you do have the bridge, allowing you to control the 2 remote turrets on the top of the ship, one on the right as well as one on the left. And you can go ahead and close the windows as well, just like the Max, which is nice. Not removing features, keeping them there. Looks great. I mean, why would they, right? That just looks fantastic. And then you have the bridge here with the pilot seat and the co-pilot seat. Like I said, the co-pilot seat does control the rear missile turrets, and then the pilot has control over that 1900 damage per second, which is fantastic. Now, if we go ahead and make our way back here, let's go ahead and take a look at the adjusted living quarters. This is the living quarters right here, where your crew is going to spend most of their time in this ship. And you got a nice little table here, you got a nice kitchen, and they removed the windows from the top, which makes me a little sad. I really like those windows that you have on the Max, which is just too bad. But the living quarters here looks fantastic, allowing you to store plenty for your crew. And then if you turn to your left, this is different. You have right here a bathroom with a nice little sink and a toilet right there. And then if you make your way to this side, you have another bathroom with another sink and toilet. And then you have a weapons rack, allowing you to store 2 heavy weapons as well as 4 rifles and 4 handguns, which is honestly pretty cool. Pretty interesting that it's right there, right? Well, that's because your crew quarters is right here. So you make your way through this door. You do have 2 beds on your left, 2 beds on your right immediately, and then you have another 4 beds right after that, 2 on your left, 2 on your right. And then if you wanted to store some things, you go ahead and just open up any one of these lockers here, and you'll get access to your personal storage, which is honestly truly awesome. So I do love the new quarters here. It looks fantastic. The new eating area looks great. This is just all, looking really good. They used the space up a lot better, I feel like. Now, if we make our way back here on the Max, this is where you're going to have your old living quarters, but we would just make our way all the way around, and then you have the elevator that goes down to your cargo area on each side, and then right here is where you'd have that Fury. So you make your way on up the stairs here, and you have yourself a nice hangar bay, which you open up with this lever here. Go ahead and hit that. The hangar bay opens up, and you can see you do have the Fury, which can go ahead and launch out just as seen on screen. Again, it looks fantastic, and it's very capable, allowing you to, if you get into a situation, launch some additional support instead of just relying on the ship that you have at hand, right? This ship can do so much for you, from cargo, deliveries, fighting, ground support, all sorts of things. And then right in the back here, you do have your engineering room, where most of your components will be housed, as well as a lot of your relays and your engineering terminals. And it's just a fantastic looking ship with a great interior. Honestly. So here is a little bit of combat footage, and then I'll come back with my score. And with that, my score for this ship is a 90 out of 100, just because it does have a fantastic amount of firepower, including its turret firepower, has a fantastic amount of missiles and damage from that, as well as a good amount of shield and HP. Overall, this ship is fantastic. The biggest drawbacks is its ship speed and maneuverability, but its speed is the biggest drawback in my opinion, just because it's a combat drop ship or combat support ship where you're out there supporting a ground team with these side guns like an AC-130, but you're a very slow, easy to hit target, which is honestly kind of too bad because your health pool, the way it's situated, it really does not help you to be that slow. So with that, again, my score, a 90 out of 100. Let me know what you think of the Starlancer TAC down in the comments below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. I think that should be the Idris P, right? I guess we'll see. Thanks for being here.